Hi, it's me again, and this time, instead of just talking about book reviews, I'm going to review one, presenting to you The Hunt for Red October by Tom Clancy. This book is about a nuclear missile submarine. I love saying nuclear missile submarine, it sounds so dramatic, but let's just get this straight. It's called a nuclear missile submarine because it has missiles and it's running on a nuclear engine. Nuclear, missile, submarine. It's not actually carrying nuclear missiles. The submarine in question is called Red October, and its captain is called Marco Ramius, or I guess that would be Marco Ramius. As you may have guessed, Red October is a Russian submarine, or Soviet submarine I should say, and thanks to a newly designed propulsion system, it's virtually undetectable. Allow me to illustrate the plot here. Soviet Union, United States, Red October. Red October is a Russian submarine, but the captain decides he no longer wants to live in Russia, in the Soviet Union. So his plan is to defect to the United States. The Soviet Union discovers this, but a little too late. So they send out everything they've got to find Red October. The United States see this and think, what's going on? They then realise that there's a submarine trying to defect, and they would of course like to welcome it. So they send out everything they've got as well to find Red October. Red October doesn't know that the Americans are trying to help it. Red October is trying to get to the United States without having the Americans shoot it down, which is why it's trying to avoid both the Russians and the Americans. Red October is just trying to get by completely unnoticed, while the Atlantic Sea is this massive cluster mess. Now, what makes this book interesting is just generally what kind of book it is. It's quoted on the back as being a unique thriller. Now, yes, in a sense it's a thriller, but it's more than a thriller. It's something called a war novel. It's not about individual events. It's about an entire war going on, which means that whereas normal thrillers just tend to be really exciting, this one is also trying to be extremely realistic. So all the terminology and missions and procedures that you would have to go through in real life are included in this book. However, that has a downside as well, because in a realistic setting you would have a lot of people involved, which is exactly what happens in this book. You have people who appear in the beginning of the book and who then never reappear because they only play a minor role in this first part. And then people who only appear at the end but who may play a crucial part in the end. What you also have is tons of abbreviations. Tom Clancy explains what every abbreviation means, but I can't keep track of them. And just the terminology in general. Let me read an extract for you. This is Richardson, a pilot, speaking. Linebacker, lead. This is Sentry Delta. Target bearing 048, range 50 miles. Course is 185, speed 20. Richardson did not acknowledge the transmission over the encrypted radio link. The flight was under MCON. That's another abbreviation, I can't remember what it means. Any electronic noise might alert the Soviets. Even as targeting radar was switched off, and only passive and infrared low-light television sensors were operating. He looked quickly left and right. Second-line flyers, hell, he said to himself. Every man in the flight had at least 4,000 hours, more than most regular pilots would ever have, more than most of the astronauts, and their birds were maintained by people who tinkered with aeroplanes because they liked to. The fact of the matter was that his squadron had better aircraft availability rates than any regular squadron, and had fewer accidents than wet-nosed hot dogs who flew warthogs in England and Korea. They showed the Ruskies that. Two things to notice here. One, all the military jargon and abbreviations and things going on that I didn't understand half of it, to be honest. Two, Richardson. Richardson, a pilot. I can't remember Richardson. I think you only hear about him during that short period of time, and then that's it. A last thing that I want to mention about this book is that it's not only a book about the Cold War, it's written during the Cold War, which makes it quite funny sometimes, because Tom Clancy is American. And so, of course, from his point of view, you have this world split into two. The Americans, who are the good ones, and the Russians, who are the bad ones. And so naturally, The Americans always seem to have the advantage somehow. They have better submarines, they have better radars, they have a better strategic position, they have better spies, they have better everything! I'm not trying to be anti-American here. I'm just saying no country is perfect, and sometimes it's just a little nauseating how sweetly he describes America. I'm not going to give this book a rating. I'm not going to give any book a rating because I don't believe in them. But from this review, hopefully you should have managed to get an idea of whether you think you're going to like this book or not. I mean, to be honest, just by hearing the plot, I think you should be able to figure out whether it's going to be something for you or not. Next week, I'll review The Martian Chronicles by Ray Bradbury.